Hello, Allie. I know you have always supported all of my writing endeavors, and I would like to share something with you that's slightly different. It's kind of similar in some aspects as the other one, but it's got a completely different focus. So I really do want your input. Not, hey, that was great, but this worked, this didn't. Why was this in the beginning, not towards the end? I really do want your input. Okay? I hope you have time. It probably won't take you very long. It's like 6 minutes, maybe. Ready? Okay. And I won't bore you with the very beginning, but the name of the story is Hemlock Falls. And the beginning is soul keepers are the most dangerous of all beings to ever roam the earth. From time immemorial, they have coveted mortal souls with a thirst that cannot be quenched. They seem to be on a winning streak, but whose side are they really on? No one knows for sure. All men know is that they appear just as a human takes their last breath and leave either delighted or frustrated. When good and evil collide in a small town, ramifications ripple throughout the earth and eternity. The time has come for you to choose sides, but do so carefully. Looks can be deceiving. So that's the description that's going to be on the back of the book. And like I said, the prologue is kind of in process, but the last two sentences are, both sides were starting to show their cards, and as of tonight, it was not looking good for the opposition. Evil had come in force to claim their rightful prize, Hemlock Falls. So that's kind of the setup. Okay, Chapter 1. The truths we hide turn into lies. The lies we hide lead to our downfall. These words from my favorite teacher ring in my ears as I once again frantically search the tree line. All I know for sure is this: strange things are happening in Hemlock Falls. I've seen the fallout. First of all, my best friend in all the world disappeared completely into thin air. Walked into Hemlock Falls 2 weeks ago, Hemlock Woods, 2 weeks ago, looking for his brand new puppy. It sounds pitiful, I know, and hasn't been heard of since, which is why I'm frantically searching the tree line. Next, Miss Barbara Ann Brody, the Hemlock Falls Presbyterian choir director, swears she heard noises in the choir loft when she knows no one comes to rehearsal 2 hours early. Then, Jimmy G., owner of Hemlock Hardware, found a hammer and 3 boxes of nails missing. 2 $20 bills appeared on the counter, right under his nose. He was sitting in his chair by the cash register the whole time, didn't see a thing. Swears there was a small flash, and there they were. Even my folks are getting in on the act. They're acting weirder than normal. They tell us it's healthy to push the boundaries once in a while. My question is this: when did that include spending a large portion of your retirement savings on a tiny house without bothering to consult your offspring? Who knows what they'll do next? The world is their oyster, or so they like to believe. Phil and I just get kicked to the curb. I'm in high school, for crying out loud. Like it's not enough pressure for any teen to handle anyway. Now I'm expecting to come down some morning to breakfast and find a note on the kitchen table. One that reads something like this: your mom and I have decided we need to see more of this fine country of ours. We're off to the Virginias, and then plan to work our way to Colorado, through Washington State, swing by Wyoming just for fun, move on to California, probably end up in Hawaii. There's food in the freezer and $800 in your bank account. It was supposed to be for college, but you'll probably need it for bills and groceries and stuff. Call us when you need more. We'll wire it. Have a great year. See you sometime. Real soon. Dad. Yes, I know I have an overactive imagination, but they're really scaring me. They did it once before. Granted, it was only for 12 days, but it didn't come with a warning label either. Who does that? Leave their teenage daughter and 11-year-old son to fend for themselves with no advance notice. So much for parental commitment. Granted, it hasn't happened yet, but I have a strong feeling it's only a matter of time. I, for one, am convinced it's all connected to the Hemlock Institute for Paranormal Studies. This freaky, nutsoid, crazy stuff didn't start till they moved into town. The owner looks like a character from a creepy B horror movie, and his assistant is the typical dumb blonde. Weird combo, I agree. But like I said, strange things are happening recently in Hemlock Falls. I'm scared for real. How do I even start looking for DP? What can one 15-year-old girl with a phobia of spiders do anyway? Where do I turn? Life just weirded out on me, and I'm looking for the light. It's in there somewhere, I hope. Jesus, we really need your help. Now do you understand my troubles? I can't wait to see what happens next, I think. Then again, okay, that was chapter 1. And since it was only 6 minutes, if you don't mind, I'd like to read you chapter 2 so you can get a little more of a feel. Oh, yeah. And this is going to introduce some of the townspeople. Chapter 2. The church meeting was sparsely attended, which didn't really surprise me. What did was the presence of P.E. Thorndike. Not that he wasn't welcome to attend any town function. He just never had, especially one outside Hemlock Presbyterian. Dr. Phineas Ezekiel Thorndike owned a large portion of prime real estate here in Hemlock Falls and the surrounding towns, but you'd never know it by his humble demeanor. His son, on the other hand, was a whole nother kettle of fish. P.E. Jr. was an apple that fell very far from the tree and rolled a good long way. Uber jock on the football team, dating the cheerleader queen, mean as a snake and twice as sneaky. You really didn't want to cross P.E. Jr. DP made that mistake once and paid for it dearly. Another surprise was the presence of the director of Hemlock Institute for Paranormal Studies himself, Mr. Hollow, who naturally brought Susan, the blonde, along for the ride. I'd seen them occasionally in the Stop and Shop, but never up close and personal. She's okay, but he's definitely bizarre. A strange smell seems to cling to his clothes, one I recognized but couldn't quite place. I strongly suspect it to be formaldehyde. Of course, that could just be my science-obsessed brain talking. Pastor Dave launched into the meeting greeting, citing more curious goings-on I hadn't heard of yet. He had a notepad and everything. Apparently, some kid decided half the town didn't need electricity and had shimmied up a pole to cut the wires. No one knew who, but almost everyone had their suspicions. How the perpetrator escaped unharmed is beyond me, but it would explain our mini blackout last night. I just thought Dad hadn't paid the bill. My bad. Oh, Mrs. Crabapple had obviously forgotten the 3G rule again, which Pastor Dave vehemently imposed on all of his congregation. No groans, gripes, or gossip. He maintained that if you gossip, you steal someone's good reputation, which, in Mrs. Crabapple's case, could well be true. From another standpoint, it meant that no one respected her and she had zero credibility with the town council, which was always a bad thing when running for re-election. She failed, twice. She was in full Crabapple form, groaning, griping, and gossiping about things I was pretty sure she knew little about, including the Hemlock Falls football coach. We pretty much ignored anything and everything she had to say. Sad but true. Another shock to me was Norman Vincent Rice. He was pretty much Mrs. Crabapple's only opponent in a race not too many cared to enter, let alone win, in a town not too many knew of, in a county, in a state that is one of the smallest in the nation, or so we are led to believe. Norman Vincent Rice was the owner of Hemlock Shoe and Sock Shop. And I say was for good reason. He disappeared 3 nights ago. His wife said he'd gone for an early evening stroll and didn't get concerned until bedtime. Apparently, Norman Vincent had a very strict nocturnal schedule. I had no idea. It's unclear exactly what happened or where he was for a whole day and a half, but he turned up dead as a doorknob in Hemlock River, missing a shoe. And that, sadly, was the end of Norman Vincent Rice, not to mention the electoral race. They're still looking for a replacement on the board. The whole thing is in hiatus, since the town council won't let Mrs. Crabapple back in. Not that I blame them. Still, what would a teenager know about these things? So, we're at 11 minutes, less than 12. Okay. So, my sweet, biggest little blessing, and anyone who happens to find this video on my extremely random YouTube channel, I really would appreciate your input on what you think of the story so far. So let me know in the comments. I love you. Bye, baby bear, and stay safe. Yeah, the corona self-iso is really getting to me. Love you.